Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for expecting my fiancé to defend me after his uncle hit a curb while driving, popped a tire, and then blamed me? My fiancé and I are visiting his uncle Chris in Georgia. I used to live in the same area for about 5 years, but that was about 3 years ago. Chris has some things going on, like OCD and anxiety. He smokes weed all day, cigarettes as often as possible, and apparently he barely leaves his house. Also, as I found out today, he is on some sort of medications. For context, I am 5 months pregnant and a busybody. I am definitely not smoking weed right now and was excited to be back in my old stomping grounds. I wanted specific food cause, you know, being pregnant and all does that to you. Especially being right down the street from food I haven't had in years. That really seemed to bother Chris because he said him and his wife just don't go out to eat and he eats the same foods every day due to his OCD. I have no issue with that and suggested that we could just go get it ourselves, but he insisted on driving us. We went to one place. I got my pizza and was super excited and thankful. Besides the pizza outing, I was sick of sitting around watching them all smoke weed and talk for hours on end. I suggested we go out to the aquarium on Saturday and one of my favorite antique stores on Sunday. They seemed down and into it. Chris has been driving us around for the weekend even though we have a rental and offered to drive ourselves. This is all for context so you could know what led to the incident. We spent a total of 5 hours at the aquarium on Saturday and 1 hour at the pizza place. Then today, we left the house for a total of 4 hours to run some errands for Chris, go antique shopping to my recommended store, and his wife's recommended store. During both outings, him and his wife didn't even walk around with us. It was awkward and you could tell they don't like people, children, interacting with us in public, etc. This is my first time finding this out, or else I honestly wouldn't have even come to visit. They have been terrible hosts and I'm not even sure why they invited us to come stay with them. You could tell Chris in particular was miserable, hungry, hadn't smoked weed for all of 4 hours. So, we leave store number 2 after I found him sitting at the front on his phone, clearly bothered. We start driving to go get one of his approved food places as he is expressing how hungry he is. His wife has directions pulled up on her phone and is directing him verbally. Keep in mind it is 2025 and he's got this big old screen in his car playing FM radio, and instead of putting the GPS on it like most of society does, he relies on her to direct him and was snippy with her the entire time for the way she was instructing him. They're both in their early 50s and have iPhones. The wife tells Chris to turn left. At this exact moment I was on my phone in the back seat zoning out for all of a few seconds as I'm catching up on texts and stuff. He tried to turn left into a big-ass median and we hear this loud noise that anyone would be worried about. Immediately, he says, "I hate driving in places I don't know," and * insert my name should have been more vocal about directing me considering this is her old stomping grounds, which honestly shocked me. Like, dude, shit happens, but it wasn't my fault you hit a median? We pull over immediately to inspect the damage and there's thankfully no structural damage to the car, just a big gash and a flat tire, banged up rim. My fiancé goes into problem solver mode and starts putting the spare on while Chris smokes 2 cigarettes. Starts ranting about how this is essentially because I wanted to go out and how he should have learned his lesson yesterday from the aquarium. He's not normally out this late. It was 6 p.m. How he's having a panic attack, should have brought his medication, he's shaking, etc. Meanwhile, my fiancé took all of 5 minutes to change the spare, and me being 5 months pregnant put his busted tire in the trunk and helped as much as I could. Chris's rants were both directed at me and felt like they were intended to make me feel bad for leaving the house. It was so incredibly awkward. His wife sat there in silence and you could tell she was used to this. My fiancé didn't say anything but tried to de-escalate by making small talk. Meanwhile, I'm like internally fuming because all I wanted my fiancé to say was, "Hey, don't talk to her that way. None of this was her fault," but no, that didn't happen. Chris got his food, got back home, chain-smoked cigarettes and weed, and proceeded to rant about puzzles and acted like nothing happened. I wanted to leave immediately and kind of gave my fiancé shit for not standing up for me. We are never visiting them again. That is for sure. Fiancé admitted to me that this was his first time visiting Chris. He had no idea how extreme he is and that he wasn't that close to him until recent years. But am I the bad person for expecting my fiancé to speak up and defend me in the moment? I didn't expect a full-blown confrontation, but I also didn't expect him to sit back and let me take those verbal hits. I try not to pull the pregnancy card, and everyone tells me I'm super level-headed in general, but I've been getting spoiled by friends because they're always taking my cravings and desires into consideration right now. I was okay with taking a backseat this trip, literally, but my feelings and comfort should matter, right? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for getting mad at my wife after she wants to spend 3 nights with girlfriend? My wife has a friend that lives long distance. They are very close and talk almost daily. She wants to come down, book a room, and her and my wife hang out from Friday morning till Monday afternoon. Now we have an 8-month-old that is breastfed. I'll of course watch our son while she's away. Our son sleeps with us and breastfeeds through the night. I told my wife I thought it would be a good idea to at least one of those nights have the baby sleep with her and feed. I said I would bring the baby there however late at night and then pick him up. They'll be staying about 40 minutes from our house. Now the reason I say this is because he will only barely drink from a bottle. And when she comes home from work at about 11 p.m. he is really wanting his mom. I can't imagine 3 nights of him not seeing her and feeding. She flipped out though, and said that she doesn't get to go out much since the baby, and I understand that is true, neither do I. We can hardly go out together. But I felt like she completely dismissed it and that I was trying to ruin the whole trip. Am I the bad person for wanting our son to sleep with his mom for at least one of those nights? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for blocking a friend because she keeps ghosting everyone and sucks at communicating? I, 25F, have a friend named Leah, also 25F, who has a habit of ghosting people whenever she feels like it. She says that she just hates being around and talking to people, both IRL and online, and finds it extremely exhausting. The problem is that she would ghost people literally in the middle of conversations. She's done this to me countless of times in the 4 years that we've been friends. It's very frustrating, especially when we're talking face to face. She would suddenly walk away from me or just suddenly stop speaking altogether while we're talking about important things. In chats and messages, she would reply after weeks or even months. She literally missed her own cousin's wedding invitation back in 2023 because she never checks her inbox. She checked her messages 2 weeks after the wedding and was surprised to see nearly 100 messages from various angry and worried family members. She also never answers calls. She hates phone calls and video calls with a burning passion that she immediately blocks any number or person who would call her on her phone or in Discord. Of course, her cousin and other family members have blocked her because of this. She even cried to me for a full week because she was so hurt, but she wasn't sorry at all. I don't even know how she does it. She's constantly on IG and X, but never bothers to check her inbox. She also has thousands of unread emails. She even got fired on multiple occasions because she never responds to her clients or bosses. I'm so tired of her complaining to me all the time, so I decided to end our friendship. She ghosted me again last week in the middle of our conversation, so I blocked her everywhere. She didn't even notice until last night. So now, she's trying to reach out to me in person, but I just keep ignoring her because I'm just so tired of our one-sided friendship. You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.